it's so many uncertainties. What would you recommend to somebody in that position?
I would say that it's simple to me. If your mind's right and your money's right, you can have power in a lot of situations without having an appointed position.
Clock it, Dr. Boyce. Clock it.
There we go. Right. That was I make no mistake about it. Um, I didn't want to go through life as a powerless black man. It's not fun. Um, and I started looking at what power is and how it works. And sometimes when we get like institutional power, it's because the institution decided to put you in a position, appoint you to something or whatever, or if you get voted in, well, your votes, you get the power. And then in politics, what makes it muddy is you need the money to buy the votes, basically, right? Because all the
I
campaign
get
spending from what I've seen, it seems like most of the campaign spending is just advertising. It's an ad budget, right? Like, I'm gonna tell everybody about me, get my message out there so that I get elected. Okay, so you're buying your way into office and using somebody else's money, which means you're beholden to the people who wrote that check. Period. They didn't write that check because they wanted to be nice. They wrote the check because they need an employee, basically, right? So I was always like, well, it seems to me that if you really want the real power, instead of seeking to align yourself with an institution that might give you some type of power, which is typically going to be temporary, conditional, transitory, why not create your own power by simply being financially independent enough that you can say yes and no to things? And then maybe you also become intelligent enough to be able to have discernment and make good decisions. And then perhaps you become persuasive enough to connect yourself with individuals that are in alignment with you so that then you're able to kind of have some influence without it being tied to some sort of institutional agenda that may or may not be in alignment with who you truly are, right? Like I think that as black people, I think we have to be real careful about that because so many of these institutions were not built for us. They have some of these Negroes out here acting like crazy. Look, you looking like Chicken George. Out here, I talked to somebody who actually worked for one of the big stock exchanges. I won't say which one because I don't want to give it away. But she said, yeah, so we have 10,000 employees. Eight of us are black. And she said, and most of the black people I work with that have been there, they are literally out here clucking like chickens, trying to, yes, boss, and I'm like, that can't be life. That's not, but there are some people though who get in that institution and they're like, this is where I'm at. This is my home because I relate to everyone around me. And, like, so if I'm a white male and I go into a white male dominated space, then I can fit right in and it's very natural